we talk. So that being said, I did have this experience. I noticed that a lot of my actors were not booking, and that's why they enrolled in my course. They were not booking because they were nervous. So let me ask you guys this. How many of you, first of all, do we have any actors in this room? Okay. But let me guess, many of you have at least been on a job interview. Raise your hand if you've ever been on a job interview. I would think that would be most everyone except a child. Okay? And so my next question, when this is the one that I ask to my actors, is how many of you have ever had the finest version of that audition, or in your case, job interview, be the one that happened in the car on the way home after the job interview? And you can relate. We all can. And it's where you're going through the mental case of the woulda, coulda, shouldas, right? Or what I call the if onlys. If only I had said this, if only I hadn't said that, if only I hadn't worn this. Why did I feel that I needed to use an entire bottle of perfume for only one application? Right? Whatever the reason is. And you're going, geez, my hands were shaking, they were moist, my voice cracked, everything that could have gone wrong. I wasn't me. And I thought, man, every actor in Hollywood can relate to that. And I started teaching this course in mastery. Well, I had always had an elevated booking percentage, but now I'm playing for a series regular, and it's a lot of money and it's tremendous exposure on a major network. It was ABC. And I walked out of the house that day when I was headed to that meeting at the network. When I walked out of the house, I stopped because I heard what I refer to as a whisper. Now, this is not a joke. Everyone gets whispers. We all do. The problem with the human race is we promptly veto them. Your life changes and becomes magical when you begin honoring those whispers. And not only hearing them, but obeying them. I'll tell you more about that in just a minute. This specific whisper simply said to me, and it was so off the wall, but I didn't question its sanity, and the whisper was, you need to go fill your shoes with syrup. And it wasn't audible. It wasn't like, your attention please. You at this time now need to go fill your shoes with syrup. It wasn't that. It was just a knowing that apparently I'm supposed to go fill my shoes with syrup. So I went, okay. Walked right back in my house. My wife said, honey, did you forget something? I said, no, just heard a whisper. Well, she knows all about me. We've been married since the beginning of time. We got married when we were 19 and 18. Folks, that's 37 years of marriage, which in Hollywood years, that's like 148 years. So I said, no, I heard a whisper, and she said, what'd you hear? I said that I need to fill my shoes with syrup. And she didn't look at me as if to say, Glenn, are you unwell? She didn't. Here's what she did. I'm going to show you. She said, I'm hoping you can hear me. She said, sure, honey. Did you need Aunt Jemima or log cabin? I ran over to the cabinet and is perfectly willing to help me. And we sat on our kitchen floor and we filled my shoes with syrup. I'm not talking about a couple of drops. I'm talking about an amount of syrup where I literally was squishing upon arrival at the network. Folks, I have to tell you something. When your shoes are full of syrup, you don't care about anything. It doesn't matter. Nobody can ruin your day. So I had this radiant grin. I would add the theme word mischievous grin when I walked in, and everyone's like, who's the happy guy? Well, you are happy when your shoes are full of syrup. And of course, they didn't know that. I didn't announce it, but I gotta tell you, I did enjoy the moment that the waft hit their noses, because I sat there in my chair and I watched. I counted about 10, and all of a sudden I'm seeing this. And no one knows it's coming from the actor. I mean, who goes around smelling like a maple tree? But suddenly, they seem to have this irrepressible urge to dine at the International House of Pancakes. And I'm loving it. I'm sitting there going, this is the best I've ever felt at an audition. This is awesome. Well, I booked the role, did the job, and then we move right back into the unemployment line, because that's our nature, that's the life that we live. You work and then you don't. And so the very next read came up the following week for a new show. We're now waiting for the series to be approved by ABC. It takes about 3 months if you film in January. January or February, the announcements for the network are in May. So I know it's time to get back to work on another show, and I guest star all the time, show after show after show. So I walk back into the next one, and this time I put syrup, honey, and little baby marshmallows in between my toes. Folks, let me say this right now. I'm sane. I'm sane, but this is how I spend my free time. And it worked so well, and I got that job. I booked job number 3, 4, 5, and 6, which was my agency record. The 35 years that agency had been open, their record was 5. I'm not being self-congratulatory. I'm talking to you about a theory that works. So at job number 6, I said to myself, wow, at 6 bookings in a row, if it works this well in my shoes, where else might I want to begin placing things? And on job number 7, job number 8, and job number 9, all 3 of which, so help me God, I booked. All 3 of those were booked with Oscar Mayer bologna folded in half and placed right between my butt cheeks. That is a true story. My mantra became Oscar Mayer equals higher. So if you're ever uptight on a job interview, I can tell you there is nothing quite like the level of comfort that one single slice of bologna can provide. So be aware of that. So that's what he was asking me. And I've taught actors, I consider this to be my #1 trick. I am so well known for this that when I do go on a read, which is not very often, most things are just offered to me straight up now without an audition. But for a number of years when I would go to read, casting people would glance down below my belt wondering what I was wearing that day. So does that answer your question? By the way, the answer to what is he wearing today? Canadian bacon. Hi, darling.